Welcome to the latest installment of Behind the Bass, the video series where I talk about the music that I'm making and all my thoughts on artistry, bass, music, and more. Thank you to all the people that are watching on Patreon. Your support is making the music happen and moving the Bajo y Clave project closer to that recording. And thank you to all the people who are watching on YouTube. If you enjoy what you're hearing, please subscribe to my channel so you can hear all the future music, catch all the videos, and more. So today I am going to be talking about the latest video that I posted, a song, for lack of a better name, we can call Son Montuno Blues. And obviously I call it that because the rhythm that's playing over is a son montuno, and it's a jazz blues that I love playing on. I want to give a little bit of background on this. Now, a lot of you know a while back I committed to the idea of creating Latin jazz using this two-handed tapping technique on the bass, where I'm playing bass tumbaos in my left hand, montunos, chords, solos, melodies in my right hand. And that's something that I have been calling my Bajo y Clave project. Now, I have recently been really focused on that. And I'm going to be honest, I disappeared for a little bit. I wasn't on YouTube. I wasn't on social media. I wasn't around a whole lot because I really wanted to spend some time defining that project and writing some music for the project. That's one of the reasons that I've been spending some time away from the online world. But I've been doing a whole lot of writing. And this song comes from that process. I spent a lot of time really thinking about what sort of repertoire I wanted to have, and that extended in a lot of different directions. I thought about a lot of different Afro-Cuban and Afro-Brazilian rhythms that I wanted to integrate. I thought about many different types of jazz harmony that I wanted to integrate. And then, I thought about a lot of kind of feelings and culture and life that I wanted to be a part of the project because, again, music should be a reflection of life. So I was thinking about all those things. And one of the things that I knew I wanted to integrate was some sort of up-tempo blues, kind of a fast son montuno rhythm with a lot of high energy, had that dance vibe that a lot of salsa plays on. But also, it's a big part of the jazz tradition to have a blues that players can stretch out on, can jam on a little bit, and can be a little more kind of free and fun. So that's what I wanted to do with this song. And as I was thinking about that, I remembered this high energy son montuno blues from a Paquito de Rivera album that came out in the 90s. And I'm going to be honest, I haven't heard this album in a long time. I actually kind of forget what the album was called. I know Chucho Valdez played on it. There was an element of a reunion between the two on there. The great bass player Carlos Del Puerto was on that album. It was a really great album. Unfortunately, it's not available digitally, and my CD player is not working these days, so I haven't been able to pull it out and give it a listen. But I have this very distinct memory of the song that opened that album. That was a up-tempo son montuno blues that everyone in the band really stretched out on. And I remember that it was very jazz oriented, and it had a really complex bebop fueled melody. to kind of encapsulate the tune. So that was something that I wanted to capture with this tune. And honestly, I'm really happy with the way this one's turning out. I really can't wait to record this with a fuller group. But you're going to have to wait to hear that one because I didn't want to just throw the whole song out there. There's some work that needs to be done. This album needs to be recorded, and I wanted to leave a little bit of mystery, but I wanted to put something out there that was a little bit of a sneak preview. So I recorded something slightly different on this one. The chord changes on the album will be a little more jazz oriented. They'll be a little more complicated. I moved back to more of a straight ahead blues on this one. It's in the key of E, so it's straight 1 4 1 5 4 1 on this one right here. Well, you'll hear a little more on the album, but I want to back it up a little bit to change things. Now, in knowing that the fundamental tumbao and montuno that I'm playing comes directly from what I'm planning on doing on the album, but of course I had it follow the less complicated chord changes right here. And in writing this one, it really made me reflect on everything I've learned from all of the jams that I've recorded for the online world over the past year right there. And a lot of that primarily had to do with my right hand and what the montuno that I was going to play. And looking back, I really thought that I needed to play a lot of notes. I needed to play a lot of chordal things in my right hand. I needed to play a lot of notes at the same time to mimic what a piano player might do with 10 fingers while they were playing the montuno, where I'm really using 4. So it was a little bit of a struggle to do that. So what I did is I took a step back and I reflected for a minute and realized that even though I'm playing something that's kind of pianoistic, I don't need to play it exactly like a piano player would play it. So what I did is I listened to a lot of musicians that played tres, the great Cuban guitaristic instrument that we're going to have to talk about one of these days. And I listened to a lot of guitarists that played in a Latin jazz context and tried to see how they made the change from that big piano sound to what I consider a thinner sound. And of course, I also thought about what does the bass guitar bring to the table and what does its specific tone and technique bring there. So what I came up with is that I really need to play lines that are more single note lines based around the rhythmic structure of clave and integrate chords for more of a emphasis point. So I did something like this. Single note, chord. Right? Combination of the two. Way more powerful. And then, of course, I put it together with a bass tumbao. In the video, I play the melody on fretless bass. Now, what I'm thinking for the album, I'm thinking that the instrumentation would be bass, percussion, and either saxophone or trumpet. And I'm going back and forth a little bit. There was a point where I was thinking, well, why not just both, right? And of course, the sax and or the trumpet would play melodies and take solos and add a lot to the music. I honestly haven't decided completely yet. I'm leaning towards both. I think it opens up a lot of possibilities not only for solos and melodies, but things like harmonias and background lines and all sorts of exciting stuff. But I want to save that for the album. So in this case, the fretless bass plays that melody. The melody is not the complex bebop melody that you'll hear on the album, but it has the essence of it. Again, I just wanted to give a little bit of a sneak peek right here. So this one's very bass oriented, without a doubt. Now, I took a solo on the 6-string bass on this. And while, I've been talking about in every context right here, I have been simplifying from the album. I'm using more straight ahead chord changes. I just took the essence of the melody, but I really leaned into the bebop thing a little bit on my solo right here. And I just love how that language sits, right? Right? So many possibilities when you start putting those chromatics and that bebop language in there. It's really exciting. And it really made me think. I was really happy with the way my solo turned out on this. And I was just improvising. I just played something off the top of my head. But then when I listened back, I was like, that was the sort of thing that I want to have on the album right there. Now, would I be able to do that? That's the question that I'm asking myself. Because again, in this context, I'm thinking about playing the tumbao with my left hand, and then I'd have to be improvising with my right hand only, which is a whole little bit different thing, right? If I don't really have that technique, that facility built up yet. So it really taught me that I need to do a couple things. I either need to put in some practice time to get that solo technique happening here in my right hand, or maybe I have to get creative and find a way to switch to playing more traditional two-handed technique. We'll see what happens. So this is a little bit of a sneak peek of what you'll be hearing on the album, with a little bit of a twist, of course. Now, why did I share that? Why didn't I just leave the mystery for the album? Or why didn't I just play exactly what was on the album? Because, again, the conversation around the music matters. I want people to feel something from the music. I want it to give some sort of reaction. So what I would love, if you've got a minute, either on this video or on the original performance video, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think of it. If there are things you love, tell me that. If there are suggestions for improvement, tell me that. But I want this music to be not only about my ideas, but about the voice of the community. So please make your voice be heard and put that in there. Thanks, everyone. I will see you next time.